Okay, we've got the TL922 hooked up, and you can see there the 7000 is driving it. We've got it set on 3819 on the 80 meter band, and we've got it feeding a BT1500A balanced antenna tuner. We've got twin leads feeding an inverted V that's cut for 80 meters but used on 6 through 80 meters. You can see that the power button is in the 3000 watt range, so the forward meter is multiplied by 10, so 100 is 1000 watts, and of course the reflected is true reading. And as you can see, I'm going to key up the transmitter, and bam, there we go. And we're only drawing about 160 mils, and we've got 1000 watts forward, and we're not driving the amplifier to maximum. You can draw up to 200 mils on this particular tube setup. That's what the book says is your maximum input power when you get 200 mils of grid current. You got to stop there. And we're only running about 150 or 60, and we're getting out of kilowatts. So my recommendation is to run the amp at about this level where it puts out a kilowatt instead of blowing it wide open and stressing the tubes and stuff at 1200 watts. But you know, each to his own. Also, you do have a SSB and CW mode. When you go to the CW mode, it lowers the high voltage, and therefore it cuts the power in about half. You got a little over 500 watts there, maybe 600 watts in CW, which would make the tubes last indefinitely at that rating. Those tubes are rated at more than this amp can put out, but if you run them wide open, they don't last as long. If you run this thing with 600 to 1000 watts output out of it, these tubes will give you several years of good service life. And again, another thing that you want to be careful of, Randy, is this knob right here, the band switch knob. If you've got the transmitter, if this thing is keyed and it's under power, it's putting out RF, you do not turn this knob. If you do, you'll arc it over and run it the first time. Do not do that. And this has got a real heavy duty knob or band switch in it, but none of them will take being hot switched. So that's the amp, and you can see she's working good. When you're in operate mode, that standby light comes on, and when the amp's not able, when it's bypassed in the standby mode, that light goes out and your switch is in standby. So you got operate, and when you transmit, that red light will come on. So be aware of that. So anyway, that's the amp, and I have found on my antenna that 40 and 80 meters is almost the same plate and load setting. I don't know what your favorite band is. I generally run 75 and 80 meters and occasionally 40, but the band does work on up the band. It also has got the 10 meter position activated. This amp will run 10 meters. You can see, there's your 15, and it just goes to a blank position. Well, that's 15. Actually, this amp will operate all the work bands too. It's in Kessler's book that I'm including with the amplifier. You use 14 to work some of them. A couple of them use 21 to work a couple of them. You use 10 to work a couple of them. It's wide banded. It'll tune into those other bands, so it will work on the work bands. But here again, my main experience has always been on 75, 80 meters, and occasionally on 40. But I have powered it up on those others, and it does put out a lot of RF. And one thing I want you to be careful of, man, these tubes have a tremendous amount of voltage on them. Right there, that's the high voltage. You're looking at over 32, close to 3,300 volts. That will kill you if you get into it. So, you know, be real careful and don't try to take that cover off and mess around tuning something with that safety deal disabled. You know, this stuff is real dangerous. That's why they put it in a cage, to keep you from getting into it. And that's just something I may be telling you stuff that you already know, but better safe than sorry. So I just wanted to bring that up. Other than that, hope you have a good time with your Kenwood vintage Kenwood station, and get as much enjoyment out of the amp as I did over the years that I've owned it. If you have any questions, you got my phone number. Bye-bye.